Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of I Effin' Love Cinema. Today we're going to be talking about something different, something very different. I'm going to have a non-spoiler and spoiler section on this because this is a movie, Bacurau, by the way, it's called. It's a film from Brazil. It's on Showtime. I heard about it from the Slash Filmcast a few years ago, and it's always kind of just like stuck in my head based on the like raving review they gave it. But yeah, the movie's from Brazil. Bacurau is. I don't want to say what it's about. Actually, I really don't want to say what it's about because half the fun of watching this movie, kind of like Barbarian, is seeing where it goes. The movie has a couple of interesting red herrings. But they're not like a waste of time. They're all actually really thematically linked and very interesting. What I will say about this movie, right, is that this is a movie first of all, it's a slow burn. It's a very slow movie, but it has an incredible payoff. And the craziest thing about it, right, is that uh what the movie sets up is this. God, I don't even know how to say it. The movie is clearly building up to something. Like it's a very slow movie, but it's clearly building up to like a really big sort of finale, right? And we all have an idea in our head of what that's gonna be, right? Like we kind of seen that movie before. We've seen a slow burn movie, we've all seen the Tarantino movie for sure. A slow burn movie that has like a big explosion of violence at the climax and at the end. And this movie kind of takes that idea and speaking of Tarantino, does something. It's weird, right? Because like, if you compare like early Tarantino and later Tarantino, like what he does with the cinematic medium, I know I'm bouncing all over the place here, but that's because I'm really trying to preserve the surprises here. I think they're really worth seeing for yourself. But if you think about like early Tarantino and now he was just kind of like playing with expectations and playing with genre and all that. This movie's doing that too. This movie jumps around in genres a lot. It takes a while for you to really understand what the movie's going for. Um, but it, what I'm saying is that it has a lot of the early Tarantino, and that's what this movie does, right? But it definitely has a lot of later Tarantino, where he is sort of using film as a medium to sort of create some revisionist history and to satisfy a couple of power fantasies. This movie is a power fantasy for the Hispanic people, the Latin people, but I think anybody who has dealt with colonialism in their time. This movie, it is Brazilian, but I think this film has some very interesting, very interesting commentary on American culture and well, I have to you just see it for yourself to get the other one. But it's on Showtime. It's on Showtime. It's an incredible movie. A very unique experience, by the way. I think I really should stress that this is unlike any other movie that I've seen in a while in its conception and its execution. It has some very interesting editing choices and yeah, it takes a while. It really takes a while to build and get for you as the audience to kind of get your bearings straight in the story. But once you understand what's going on, it's crazy. And the best part about it too, though, is that that you know what? Maybe I should say that for the spoiler section. In fact, I think I've said pretty much all I can say, or at least all I'm willing to say about Bacurau without spoiling anything. So watch it. Watch it. I highly recommend it. It's a very well made, very unique, very different sort of movie. A fantastic clash of styles and genre. And just an eternally satisfying movie. I think that's the best thing I can say about it. It's an incredibly satisfying movie, but not in any way that I expected or no, or that I think anybody could expect. So, that's all I'm gonna say about it without spoiling anything. So from here on out, watch at your own peril. I would highly prefer and recommend for everybody who's gonna see this to have watched it beforehand because this movie is about its surprises, not unlike Barbarian or Nope. So yeah. Here we go. Gonna spoil the whole thing, right? So the movie threw me for a loop. Let me get some water here. Actually, the movie threw me for a loop in the very beginning because I got this idea. There was something about the movie and it's and the way that it's shot and the way that it's directed that just makes you feel right away that like something else is going on, right? There's this very again with the editing, but also with a sort of distant cinematography at times. It's very interesting to watch this movie and to like feel just this unease, and it's interesting because usually you see that in horror movies and they do that with shadows, but this movie's very bright, very shiny, I guess you could say. One thing that I wish I would have talked about this more in the spoiler free section, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here. I really love how this town feels like a town. It feels like a community. Like everybody knows each other. We all understand the relationship with each other. There's tiny little dramas throughout the village and shit. It's really awesome to feel that because I think a lot of what this movie is saying is kind of like talking about the differences between sort of American culture or German culture or whatever, and how those white people tend to relate to each other in comparison to the sort of more communal kinship that you have in a lot of Latino and Hispanic countries, and also a lot of countries that were colonized, right? So I thought that was a very interesting, very good exploration of that sort of theme. And also, there's that part of the movie. Well, let's talk more. Let's talk more about the sort of communal vibe of it. Like, I think it really works because by the time it's revealed that like all the Germans and Americans team up to do this sort of like racially motivated purge and stuff like that on this town. Like once we get to that point, like you really feel scared, and then we see them kill two kids. We see them kill one, and then we know they killed another one before this, so we know they're capable of killing children. So as dark as that was, it definitely created an intense sense of dread and fear when they were coming in, and just sort of I really love the sort of almost curly mustached fucking villain vibe that you got off of the German American group. God, they were just such horrible fucking people, and it really made the big surprise at the end that the village was all fucking high was all high on a hallucinogenic like herb or whatever, and they were all working together to sort of like keep quiet, keep together, stay strong, stay strong as a unit. By the way, it's interesting that everybody in this group, in the German Americans group, like split off one like two and two and one for the overall guy, and yeah, and then the community stays together and they keep it together, and it's through their sort of communal action that they're able to exact revenge on the people who came to harm them. What I loved about the climax of this movie was that none of the good guys died. Like you expected that in this sort of movie, right? Like you were like, oh fuck. Like when you know the German people are coming, you're like, well, who are they gonna kill? Like who do I want to see die? Who do I want to see live? And at first I didn't know what to think about it. I was like, I don't think this is the most satisfying way to go. But then I'm like, that's sort of like my American, and it's funny, right? Because in a weird way, there's this confronting that sort of the way that American culture and colonial like colonizing culture sort of invade things, right? Like this movie is defiant to that sort of like expected American storytelling and shit, where we expect that in the big climactic scene there's going to be a battle and we're going to see some of the good guys die. This movie rejects that notion and shows this community um coming together and succeeding because of it. And like I really love how the third act of Falling Action is just like completing this circle of satisfaction, and I just thought that was wonderfully executed. I really love how like this movie kind of sets up for like a Bacurau 2, which would be interesting. I heard they're thinking about remaking this movie. I don't, I don't think they should, but let's see what they do with that. This was a phenomenal movie, absolutely phenomenal movie. God, like I really loved just like the real sense of place that you get here. Like something about having like a rolling caravan of prostitutes, like male and female prostitutes. Something about that just really kind of made it all come together for me. I'm not lying. That really worked. I really liked how the movie kind of sets up in a weird way. Like the movie sets itself up like it's gonna be a zombie movie at first, but then it becomes like, oh, is this a UFO movie? And then it's like The Purge, and then it's like, no, it's none of that shit, motherfucker. It's its own thing. It's Bacurau, dude. It's Bacurau. It's the town. It's the movie. The town is the movie. Is all that shit, dude. It's fantastic stuff here. I really love this movie. It's a movie that the more that I talk about it, the more I love it, which is a great sign, right? A couple more things. The music very sparse but very effective. I really liked how they used the electronica score. Kind of reminded me of Drive with like Evil, which was pretty cool. What else? What else? Dude, I'm so glad I finally sat down to watch it. And I'm glad that I get to talk about Bacurau with people who know what Bacurau is about, dude. Like this should be a cult classic. To me, this should be like the battle royale of South America, in my opinion. In like the sense that like this is like one of those movies that everybody should just be like, yo, have you heard of Bacurau and shit? Like trading DVDs. Nobody trades DVDs anymore, But back in the day, that's how you saw movies like that and Donnie Darko and A Clockwork Orange and stuff. But anyways, I'm rambling now. Bacurau, fantastic movie. I loved it. What did you think of it? Please, I really hope that none of you guys saw this without watching the movie itself first, because it is absolutely fantastic. Anyways, that's going to be all for today. I've been Ed. You've been awesome. The revival tour video is coming very soon. Mondays, Wednesdays, and every other Fridays are these people hate cinema streams. Come hang out, come say hi, hit like and subscribe, share this with people, whatever. I'm just glad that I got to talk about this movie. I've been Ed. You've been awesome. Take care.